Welcome to today's Olle Garden Podcast. My name's Kimberly Carver. I'm a teacher by trade, a gardener at heart. I also love to create garden-to-table meals, and you might have caught me on Season 14 MasterChef with Gordon Ramsay. Today on the podcast, I have invited my husband, Matt Carver, to join us. How's it going, Matt?
It's going very well. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm out in the garden. It's a little bit sunny out here, but I thought I would invite you to the podcast today because you are one of the main reasons that I got involved with Olle Gardens and how I have a beautiful raised bed garden with their bed. So I wanted to kind of ask you, so the reason why I did some research, why do we switch to metal reds versus wood beds? Because we did have those in another garden that we had. And when we started the new garden, we moved to these beds. So can you tell us a little bit by why we picked to go with this company and what was the thinking behind that?
Yes, absolutely. The wood beds, although they look nice, they cost about the same as the Ollie beds, and they just do not last as long. So
What?
to have to replace them every few years is very expensive.
Definitely. So one of the things besides the cost involved, it did take you a lot to make the wooden beds, but the raised beds themselves also do take a little bit of time. So on average, how long does it take to put together one of these raised beds?
The wooden beds,
No, the Olle Garden beds.
the Olive Garden beds, they take about an hour to an hour and a half per day.
And do you need any special equipment to do the beds?
No, I used a screw gun just to tighten everything up, but you can do it with a screwdriver. It's just a little bit faster with a screw gun.
Awesome. And what was probably the hardest part of putting the beds together?
Probably the hardest part is the stripping of the plastic that it comes with because they
I hate
wrap the
that part.
bed in plastic.
Why is that?
Well, they wrap the bed in plastic so when they ship it, it doesn't scratch up. So those plastic pieces have to come off the
They are
film. And
tedious.
so it takes a while to take them off, but that's it.
Okay, that's awesome. So, we bought two beds. We started off with a couple beds and we were putting them together. I remember this distinctly. And we were arguing about there's no way this is all we need for supports for this bed. So we ended up calling the 1-800 number and the owner of the company, Steve, answered. So tell us a little bit about that conversation because it was a long one.
It was a very interesting conversation because I called and I thought I'd get just who knows who would answer. I didn't expect that the owner would answer, but he picked right up and I talked to him about the structure and he assured me that they will not sway or bend with the dirt or anything like that. And he was just really nice to talk to, very knowledgeable about what I was trying to do, and kind of helped me with, putting it together and telling me little secrets like don't tighten everything until the very end, then you tighten everything at once. Just really helpful. And I had mentioned that my wife has a channel and she's trying to grow it. And this was before you were on MasterChef. It was just an organic growth that you were doing. And he said, well, I'd really like to talk to her. And I turned the phone over to you and you guys talked for another probably 45 minutes to an hour. One of many conversations that you've had with him.
Yes, I mean, it's been really a great partnership because my entire garden is made with Olle Garden beds, and I'm super thankful. And in addition to that, Steve got us hooked up with Kellogg's soil. So when we were putting the beds together, he did explain to you how we should layer the beds. So can you share that a little bit? Because these are a lot of beds and it's quite expensive to buy a lot of dirt. So how do we fill the beds economically and also organically?
Well, we used a lot of wood scraps that we had around the properties, trees and things like that we've cut up, and used that as a spacer to fill the bottom part. And then we put cardboard down on top of that, and then the dirt on top of that. And the the it helped with not having to use so many bags of dirt to do each bed because they are big beds. They do take a lot of dirt if you tried to fill them like that. So we kind of used that as a spacer to be able to conserve some of the soil that we got from Kellogg.
That's awesome. So just to recap, so we put cardboard on the bottom to suppress the weeds. Then we did lawn clippings, grass, leaves, branches. Then we put the good soil on top. Is that what we did?
Yes, and with another layer of cardboard in between all of that
Okay, so that
before
didn't
the
help with the
soil.
weeds. And that's
Yes.
another reason why we switched to the beds. Besides they're sustainable, I have way less weeds because you know how much we would spend out in the garden when we were growing in the soil in the ground. We were always weeding and it was just a constant battle. So having the beds and controlling the environment makes gardening so much easier, don't you think?
Oh, yes, it does. It makes it easier, faster, cleaner, and it looks a lot nicer to not see a lot of weeds around your plants. And you're feeding your plants instead of feeding the weeds.
No, that's a good point. That's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing the story of how we got connected with Olle Gardens. And I should say a big thank you for putting together all these beds. You added them up the other day. How many total beds do we have at this point?
We have 70 beds right now.
70 beds? All of those are Olle Garden
Yes.
beds? Wow.
The
That's a
the
lot.
only ones, there's 6 original wood beds that are falling apart. So
Okay.
we have 64 ollie beds.
Olle beds. That's pretty awesome. And how big do you think our garden is total now? It's almost completely set up.
Uh, so we've got about 100 by 50 on the main part of the garden, and then another 50 by 50 on the backside. So what, 500? No, quite a bit, actually, quite a bit of garden area.
That's awesome. I should also mention that another thing, you can't see it in the background today, but another thing that we added to the garden to grow vertically were the Olle Garden arches. How easy are those to put together?
Those are really simple to put together. It doesn't take 5 minutes to do them. And they are very sturdy, very durable. I thought at first they're plastic, they're not going to hold up, but they hold up under the weight of everything that we've grown on them, the beans, the peas, and all of that. They hold up. They're very
I mean,
durable.
we've had windstorms, we've had snowstorms, and they still are standing strong, which is really incredible. And I like the fact that it helps double our space and it adds a lot of beauty and drama to the garden. So definitely, if you're thinking about doing the raised beds, I would say get those arches also. It adds a lot to the garden. So, well, thanks for joining us on the
Absolutely.
podcast, Matt, and thanks for putting all those beds together. I guess if anyone has any questions about tips and tricks to getting that plastic off or ways to get those beds together quickly, I'm sure you can answer their questions, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'd be happy to.
All right. Well, thank you. Thanks everyone for joining me today. Don't forget to go out there and seed the day. Thanks, honey.